Hello everyone and welcome back to the garden. It has been a difficult time in the garden this week. The weather has been absolutely brutal and constantly hot. My only focus has been watering. I've been watering almost daily and have even completely emptied my rain tank. Luckily, nothing has died, but the garden is not looking happy. But finally, after several days of a heat wave, we got some relief with a tiny bit of rain and a bit of overcast weather. And because of the heat, I've been doing barely any gardening and it's starting to look a bit overgrown. Which means I've run out in the garden today to get through some quick garden jobs. And it may not be glamorous, but mowing is part of gardening. So that's the first job I'm tackling. I'm so glad I got an electric mower, by the way. It definitely makes life easier. I used to have an old petrol mower and I could not start it up, so having this electric one just makes it so much easier. But today I'm just catching up on a few garden jobs, and I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to make some more fun videos for you guys, but this weather has just made it so difficult. So I hope you don't mind coming along for another video of some cozy garden jobs. And one of those garden jobs is adding some fairy lights to my new trellis. I definitely want to add more like whimsy to the garden, and fairy lights just look so stunning at night. I want to add more hanging lights around my garden, but I need to work out a way to hang them first. But the trellis is coming along so well. The tromboncino is completely taking over, and I'm currently on a mission to grow the biggest tromboncino possible. The one I'm currently growing is huge, and I've been measuring them to track the progress.
That's 76 centimeters.
I'll see how they go, but I can't wait to have giant tromboncinos and pumpkins hanging off the trellis. I may need to find a way to secure them though. My lovely annual flower bed is starting to die back a little and getting a little crazy. A lot of the flowers have started to hang in the pathways, so one of today's jobs is cutting them back a bit, which always makes me so sad. I hate cutting flowers, but sometimes it needs to be done. I usually use a chop and drop method where you can cut back the plant and chop it up into smaller pieces and then throw it back into the garden. This way it breaks down into the soil and adds the nutrients back in. But something I'm trialing today is collecting all the dry flower seeds. Usually you can save these to replant, but since I already have so many seeds left, I'm just grabbing the dry seed heads and spreading them around the garden in different spots. It's definitely not the most effective way to do things, but it's a really easy way to have scattered flowers throughout your garden. They may not sow themselves, but I figured it's worth a try. They may even stay dormant until next season. And plus, this is how nature does it. The wind just blows the seed somewhere new and they find a way to germinate on their own. So hopefully I'll have a bunch of beautiful flowers popping up in random spots in my garden. I'm finally getting around to planting my raspberries. Last week I painted a raised garden bed that I got secondhand with the goal of planting some raspberries in it. These are a heritage variety, which means the plant has been passed down through generations and remains the same as to what it originally was. They're also usually bred for desirable characteristics, usually a tasty type of raspberry, and it also can mean that they're optimized for this climate as well. These raspberries can grow pretty big, which is why I've got them in a raised garden bed to control them a bit. I'm hoping in my next video I can take you on a bit of a tour of what I'm actually growing in my garden, because one of my goals is to have like a very dedicated berry collection, because I enjoy baking and it's good to have berries on hand to chuck in some muffins or bake a blueberry cake or something. It'd be really cool to have like a source of berries all year round. I filled the raspberry bed up with some spare mulch just to bulk it out a bit, and then I added in some potting mix with a little bit of mushroom compost on top. I think raspberries and a lot of berries like a slightly acidic soil, and I don't have anything currently, but pine needles or coffee grounds is a really easy way to increase acidity, so I may add that later on. I recently heard a tip of adding diluted vinegar to your plant as well, so maybe I'll give that a go.
So I had this idea to turn this old milk can that was converted into a letterbox, try and turn it into like a native bee hotel, which I don't know if these exist in other countries, but here we have a lot of like solitary bees, and they like little holes to kind of, I think they live in or nest in or just hang out. And these bamboo sticks are a great option because they already have natural holes in them. So I was thinking, try and run like bamboo sticks through it so it's kind of like a hotel. That's the plan. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's give it a go.
You know when you have like a vision in your head, but the execution doesn't quite work out? Well, I feel like that's the case with this. My main trouble was that I had no good way to cut the bamboo. I tried secateurs to cut them, that didn't work, and I tried a saw, but it was too time consuming. I eventually just started snapping them, which was a whole lot easier, and in hindsight I really needed a circular saw or something better to cut them. And I might still use one to tidy it up, but for now, it does the job. It doesn't look as good as I envision, but it's for the bees, and hopefully the bees like it and are willing to nest in there. I'll eventually find a nice spot to hang it up, but for now, hopefully you guys can see what I was trying to achieve with this. The sun was starting to get low, so I wanted to do a bit of quick harvesting for dinner. I'm making a stir fry for dinner, so I harvested some capsicums, or peppers for you Americans. These ones I harvested are a perennial variety that I'm trying out. I also harvested one of my chocolate capsicums. I tasted these and I don't really think they taste like chocolate, but they do have a chocolate color. Sadly, the caterpillars are a fan of them as well. I also harvested some white eggplant, and I am struggling with my eggplants. I never know when they're ready to harvest, so if you have any tricks on how to know when to harvest them, please let me know, because I keep harvesting them either too early or too late. I also harvested some string beans, and this plant has been so productive. I've had it for ages, and it's still producing a ton of beans. I pretty much can't keep up with it. The assassin bugs are also a fan of this plant, so I have to be a bit careful when harvesting things because I recently learned that they can bite you. Not to live up to the stereotype that Australia is scary and everything's trying to hurt you, but yeah, you do have to be careful sometimes. I also harvested a few spinach leaves. This variety is called Okinawa spinach and it's native to Japan and Indonesia, and it's considered one of those superfoods because the leaves are really rich in protein, iron, potassium, calcium, and vitamin A. I've got it in a pot for now because I need to find a good spot to put it because it can take over. I then harvested one of my cucumbers for tomorrow's lunch and to save it from any caterpillars or possums who may want to have a bite. So it's not the most aesthetic harvest, but it's a realistic one. I've got only what I need. I'm not going to harvest more just for fancy Instagram posts, but pretty happy with that. But it's the end of the day, my dogs are bugging me for a walk, so I need to go walkies and then I'll jump into making dinner. Do you want walkies? Do you want walkies? Yes. Walkies? Walkies? Whew, I'm knackered.